Hey, fellow babies, welcome back to Pachter Factor on SIFTD.net. I'm Michael Pachter. Glad to have you here. Hope you're watching this real time as a patron on our Patreon page. If you are contributing, thank you so much. Please, any little extra pennies you can pledge. Shane's dying here. I'm afraid that I'm going to have to go away and find a real job if you don't continue to support Shane. And if you are watching on YouTube as a subscriber, thank you so much. Please also remember to link your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch Prime account. They will pay us. It costs you nothing, and the instructions are in the show description below. If you're doing none of those things, you better be following me on Twitter at Michael Pachter. Today's question from Patreon from NeoJD. Hey, Pac, hope all is well. Any rumblings on the next acquisition targets for Sony and Microsoft? How long do you think this buying spree will continue for both companies? Do you see an end to the new arms race, or is this a new version of the console war? Look, I think Microsoft's probably done for a while, and I think that Activision, just the delay in getting regulatory review is enough to kind of put them off for a while. I don't know how big Sony wants to go. Sony could buy Ubisoft, and they could buy Take-Two, and they arguably could buy EA. I don't think they're going to. They could buy a Japanese publisher. They could buy Bandai Namco or Square Enix if they wanted. I don't think they're going to. Or Capcom. Possible. But I think that more likely they all buy smaller studios. And I couldn't have even named half of the studios Microsoft bought for Bethesda. So I know they were there, but again, who's out there? Turtle Rock. Who's out there to buy? There's still plenty of guys from software. There's still plenty of guys to buy. So we're not done. They'll buy guys who are making good games. I could see maybe somebody buying CD Projekt because they're actually really good. Notwithstanding how bad Cyberpunk was, they're actually really good. So yes, I think that they're going to continue as long as there's guys out there to buy. We're just kind of running out of high quality AAA big studios. And the world's moving toward streaming, and the world's moving toward free to play. Like when EA bought Respawn, we all said, "Oh, Titanfall," and the next thing you know, it's Apex Legends. Like none of us would have said that because we didn't know it existed, and we wouldn't have guessed that Respawn's next billion-dollar franchise was a free to play game. So there probably are a few dozen of those guys up and coming that could be purchased as well, but I don't think it's ever going to end. I think it happens as long as they both are trying to support a game streaming service. So we're going to have it for the next dozen years, and then either they both thrive or one eats the other's lunch. We'll see what happens. I kind of expect they'll both thrive. I think this is like Netflix and Disney Plus. There's different content on the two, and you end up subscribing to both because you want to watch both. So don't think it ends anytime soon, but you never know. No, I think it changes how they develop games and they think about a free-to-play component. I think that the old model, make a game, put it in the can, sell it for $60, and then go on to the next one. The new model is, while you're building the game, build the persistent world, build the online, come up with a timeline of deliverables after the game launches. And I'm just going to use Season Pass as a shortcut for that. Come up with your plan for 5, 10-week Season Passes or whatever they have, and have all the content launches planned out for the next 5 years, and that's really what GTA has become. And honestly, I don't know what Take-Two's doing for sure, but they sold 160 million copies of GTA, but it's been 9 years. Now that's great. I'm no diss to that at all. But so they've averaged like 18 million units a year. And the average price is probably somewhere under 40. Right? So they're making, call it 650 million a year from selling GTA from launch to now. They're making 500 from GTA Online. Why not and that requires you to buy GTA to play it. What if you just launch the next GTA as an online free-to-play with no paywall, like Apex? Is it possible that would do $1 billion a year in perpetuity, and they make more money? And I think it is. So not to say that is what Take-Two's going to do, but that's what everybody should do. I talked to Andrew Wilson about this years ago, and he told me, he looked at me like I was crazy. But I'm like, why don't you make FIFA Ultimate Team free to play? And he goes, no one would buy FIFA. And I said, well, they would buy FIFA if you made FIFA standalone worth buying. And I go, but even if you lost a few million sales, twice as many people would play FIFA Ultimate Team, and you'd make twice as much money. I believe that, and I think Apex Legends and Call of Duty Warzone have proven that. And League of Legends has proven that there are that many people who want to play a game, but they don't want to spend money until they try it and they get into it. So I think the new model is, and this is what Bungie is essentially working on, which Sony bragged about in the press release. They're masters of running live services and keeping it going. I think that's the new model. So we may never get another StarCraft. The next StarCraft might be free to play. I just think that whole skill set's different, and I think there are going to be developers who figure that out, thrive at it. Vince Zampella is the poster child for that, and sell their company. Now, what's crazy? Respawn was sold for $450 million. Bungie was sold for $3.6 billion. Somebody left money on the table, and it was Vince. Thanks for joining us on this week's Pachter Factor on SIFTD.net, and thank you for your patronage on Patreon. Thank you for your subscription on YouTube. Thank you for linking your Prime account to your Twitch Prime account so we can get paid. And thanks for following me on Twitter. All four are fine. You can do all of the above, and we appreciate it. See you next time.